if you are living in Guyana, you are between the ages of 13 and 19, and you are unmarried and do not have any children, this opportunity could be life-changing for you. Currently, the Miss Guyana Talented Teen organization has 5 slots available. So you can definitely enter the pageant by sending a WhatsApp video to the number 592-665-4565. Again, that number 592-665-4565. If you have any questions, feel free to send them a text message. Ask your questions. But if you're going to send a video, make sure that you explain who you are in the video, what you can bring to the table, and why you should be the next Miss Guyana Talented Teen. Guys, this opportunity can change your life. It changed my life. I know it can do the same for you. So send that video today.
18-year-old sentenced to 3 months for unlawful wounding. Shemroy Cream, an 18-year-old farmer, has been sentenced to 3 months imprisonment for unlawful wounding. The charge was brought under Section 50 of the Criminal Law, Offenses, Act, Chapter 801. The incident occurred on June 28, 2025, at the Supinam waterfront, where a 27-year-old farmer sustained injuries during an altercation with Cream. Cream appeared before Her Worship Ms. Tamika Clark at the Suddy Magistrates Court on July 4, 2025, where the charge was read to him. He pleaded guilty and was subsequently sentenced to 3 months in prison. Tragic death of 16-year-old student in suspected hit-and-run. 16-year-old Kimberly Natasha Jones, a student at Fort Wellington Secondary School, was killed in a suspected hit-and-run accident on Tuesday evening along the number 22 Village Public Road. Kimberly had recently completed her Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, examinations and was returning home from Rossignol when the tragic incident occurred around 9 p.m. A relative who was returning home from the airport encountered a large crowd on the road and stopped to investigate. He was informed that it was Kimberly who had been struck by a vehicle. She was picked up and rushed to the Fort Wellington Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. According to family members, the driver of the vehicle fled the scene but was later arrested. Kimberly lived with her sister and brother-in-law at Lot 63 No. 22 Bel Air West Coast Burbus, following the death of her mother a few years ago. The family is mourning the loss of a promising young student and is seeking justice for this tragic incident. 2 remanded for the murder of Lichfield teen. Antoine Campbell and Rayon Frank, both 19 and residents of No. 40 Village, were remanded to prison on July 8, 2025, for the murder of 18-year-old Jeroy Gordon from Lichfield Village. The 2 construction workers appeared before Magistrate Michelle Mathias at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court, where they were informed of the serious charges against them. They were not required to enter a plea at this stage. Police Prosecutor Sergeant Garfield Edwards indicated to the court that while the case file is complete, the post-mortem examination report for the deceased is still pending. Magistrate Mathias acknowledged the gravity of the charges and ordered the defendants to remain in custody. The case is scheduled to be heard at the Weldad Magistrates Court on August 8. Reports indicate that on the evening of July 3, Jeroy and his 16-year-old brother Jerry were returning home on a motorcycle after purchasing food when they were ambushed near their home. Jerry recounted that one of the attackers ran across the road with a rope, causing them to fall off their motorcycle. As they hit the ground, several men armed with cutlasses charged at them. Fearing for his life, Jerry ran to Lichfield to alert relatives. Upon returning to the scene, he found Jeroy critically wounded. Jeroy was rushed to the Fort Wellington Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival, having sustained a deep wound to his neck and other injuries. Investigators revealed that Jeroy had previous disputes with some of the suspects earlier this year, a matter that had been before the court but concluded prior to this incident. GPF warns beware of alleged fraudster. The Guyana Police Force has issued a warning regarding an individual identified as Javier Quintero, who is allegedly misrepresenting himself as a wholesale supplier of cement. He has been reported to be defrauding unsuspecting victims by falsely obtaining money. The GPF urges everyone to be cautious and not fall victim to this fraudulent scheme. King Taro is said to be promoting a sale with messages like, "Sale, sale, sale, Argos Cement. Don't miss this unbeatable offer." GSG Solutions Group is having a flash sale on Argos Cement for an unbeatable price of $51,765 per sling/$1,295 per sack with a minimum quantity of 2,500 slings per company/individual. This offer runs for 24 hours. Hurry! Representatives from Argos Cement have confirmed that King Taro has no association with their company. If you have any information regarding this individual or have been targeted by his schemes, please contact the Guyana police force immediately. Stay vigilant. Melissa Silas acquitted of manslaughter charges after 7-year legal battle. Melissa Silas, 36, walked out of the High Court a free woman this morning after a jury delivered a not guilty verdict in her manslaughter trial, which stemmed from the death of her reputed husband, Julian Anthony Ribeiro. Ribeiro was found dead at their home in Soesdijk on November 13, 2018. A post-mortem examination revealed that he died from asphyxiation due to compression injuries to his neck. Silas, who was pregnant at the time of the incident, consistently maintained her innocence, despite police claims that she had confessed to the crime. During the trial, the defense team, represented by attorneys Euborn Alicock and Travis Ferreira, successfully argued a no-case submission. They contended that the prosecution had failed to present sufficient evidence linking Silas to her husband's death and highlighted several inconsistencies in the testimonies of prosecution witnesses. Following the defense's arguments, the judge directed the jury to return a not guilty verdict, resulting in Silas's acquittal after a protracted 7-year legal ordeal. The verdict marks a significant turn for Silas, who has faced years of legal challenges and public scrutiny. Family loses home in devastating fire. A couple, Imran Khan, 39, and his wife Sheena, along with their 4 children, have become victims of a devastating fire that completely destroyed their home at the Rose Hall Sugar Estate. At the time of the incident, Imran and his 2 younger children, aged 11 and 8, were away from home. Imran had left around 2:30 p.m. to pick up Sheena, who works as a security guard for the estate. After picking her up, they intended to travel to Rose Hall town to purchase a new phone. Their 2 teenage sons were left at home. While en route, Imran received a phone call from one of his sons informing him that their house was on fire. He rushed back only to find the entire structure engulfed in flames. "Nothing save, nothing. Everything just burned down," Imran lamented. Neighbors noticed thick smoke rising from the upper flat of the 2-story building and rushed to help. They found the teenage boys rocking in hammocks underneath the house, unaware of the fire. Initial attempts to douse the flames were thwarted when the windows burst open, forcing the neighbors to retreat. Imran reported that there were no electrical appliances in use on the upper flat at the time, and all cooking had been completed earlier that morning. The only electrical device typically left on was the refrigerator, located on the lower flat. Imran Khan expressed concern about their immediate future, stating he has nowhere to stay and is unsure if neighbors would take them in for the night. The family had been renting the home for 4 years and had recently invested in appliances and furniture. For those wishing to assist the family, they can be contacted at 6042738 or 6795544. Investigation launched into fatal workplace incident. The Ministry of Labor, through its Occupational Safety and Health department, has initiated an investigation into a tragic incident that resulted in the death of 46-year-old laborer Mr. Nadir Bakhsh on July 9, 2025, at a construction site. Mr. Bakhsh was employed by Builders Hardware Construction and was operating a front-end loader when the accident occurred. Reports indicate that he was attempting to maneuver the loader across one of the bridges being constructed in a new housing development. During this maneuver, an unmarked sand truck approached the loader at close range, which led to Mr. Bakhsh losing control of the vehicle. At the time of the incident, 21-year-old Mr. Parmesh, another laborer, was standing in the bucket of the loader. Noticing the loss of control, he jumped into the canal and sustained minor injuries. Officer Ms. Krista Simmons conducted a thorough on-site assessment to investigate the circumstances surrounding the accident and to develop recommendations to prevent similar incidents in the future. Honorable Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton expressed his heartfelt condolences to the family, co-workers, and friends of the deceased. He emphasized the importance of maintaining good safety and health practices in the workplace to avoid tragic accidents that could result in the loss of lives. Investigations are ongoing as the ministry seeks to uncover the full details of the incident and ensure workplace safety. U.S. to deploy security experts to train Guyana police ahead of elections. News source Guyana reports. The United States government will send security experts to Guyana to train members of the Guyana Police Force, GPF, in preparation for the upcoming general and regional elections on September 1st. This announcement was made today by U.S. Ambassador Nicole Terrio. The experts are expected to come from either the Las Vegas or Miami-Dade Police Department. Ambassador Terrio emphasized the importance of this training, stating, "We will be bringing in police trainers to provide election security training to help the GPF to be prepared for whatever might come. Hopefully, it will be nice and peaceful, but we are going to be doing that." Ambassador Terrio shared these details while responding to questions from news source at a morning event. She noted that the training is part of a coordinated effort to support Guyana, involving both the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, and the GPF, facilitated by the ABCU missions. Highlighting the significance of a strong democratic process in Guyana, the ambassador explained that the training was initiated in response to a direct request from the GPF for assistance. "Our elections, no matter how contentious, are usually peaceful. We have a lot of expertise in that area, and we are happy to help," she said. Ambassador Terrio also mentioned efforts to involve the New York Police Department, NYPD, due to their established partnership with the GPF, but noted that they were unable to travel until September. In addition to training, the U.S. is funding 2/3 of the OAS election observation mission to Guyana and is collaborating with the Carter Center, which has already sent a delegation to the country. The U.S. observer mission will consist of approximately 50 personnel who will monitor the elections from the opening of polls to the declaration of results by the Election Commission. Attorney General warns against unauthorized visits to Amerindian communities. Attorney General Anil Nanlal has issued a warning regarding unauthorized visits to Amerindian communities, emphasizing that such actions could constitute a criminal offense. He urged individuals to adhere to the proper procedures before entering these villages. Nanlal's remarks come in light of a recent incident involving Azruddin Muhammad, the presidential candidate for the We Invest in Nationhood Party, during his visit to the Wiki/Kalkuni community in the Burbus River. The visit coincided with a promotional cricket match and fun day activity, where the village's Tobago publicly denounced Muhammad by grabbing and stomping on the Win Party flag, claiming that no permission was granted for his entry. The event was a private promotion aimed at welcoming visitors, which included offerings such as table packages for beverages. While the Attorney General did not directly address the incident, he stressed the legal framework governing access to Amerindian villages. Historically, Amerindian villages, under the Amerindian Act, are not considered public property. Unauthorized individuals cannot enter these communities without permission. If you do, you may be committing a criminal offense and could be charged, Nanlal stated during his weekly Issues in the News program. He highlighted that government officers conducting official business are exempt from this restriction, as the law permits them to enter Amerindian communities without prior approval. Nanlal referenced a similar situation in early 2015, when the village council of Moko Moko prevented former President Donald Ramotar and his team from entering due to late notice. Muhammad's campaign team expressed concerns that they were being targeted, interpreting the actions of the Tobago and others associated with the ruling PPP as contrary to the principles of free and fair campaigning. The Attorney General's comments underscore the importance of respecting the autonomy of Amerindian communities and adhering to legal protocols when engaging with them. Agriculture Minister criticizes opposition leaders' claims on Gisuko. Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa has dismissed recent statements made by opposition leader Aubrey Norton regarding the future of the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gisuko, under a possible APNU-led administration, labeling them as disingenuous, and a shameless attempt to rewrite history. In a statement released on Wednesday, Mustafa reminded the public that it was the APNU government, which Norton now leads, that closed the Rose Hall, Skeldon, Wales, and Enmore sugar estates between 2015 and 2020. This decision resulted in over 7,500 sugar workers losing their jobs and plunged entire communities into economic and social crises. These reckless decisions were made despite a report from the Commission of Inquiry into Gisuko, commissioned by the APNU/AFC themselves, which warned of the devastating long-term impacts of closures, Mustafa stated. They ignored it, and thousands of families paid the price. Mustafa accused the previous administration not only of shutting down estates but also of neglecting to pay sugar workers their full severance. He emphasized that many workers were forced to engage in lengthy court battles to receive what was rightfully theirs. According to Mustafa, it was only after the return of the PPP/C to power that the outstanding severance payments were fulfilled. He cited findings from the United Nations International Labour Organization (ILO), which indicated that the estate closures led to increased suicide rates, crime, and alcohol abuse, highlighting the severe social impacts left in their wake. Mustafa criticized Norton for now vowing to transform Gisuko and asserting that no estate closures would occur under a future APNU administration. These are hollow promises built on the ruins APNU themselves created, Mustafa declared. They cynically called it right-sizing then, now they pretend to care. In contrast, Mustafa pointed to the PPP/C's achievements since regaining office, including the reopening of the Rose Hall estate, reemployment of former workers, and new investments aimed at mechanization, diversification, and recapitalization of the sugar industry. The sugar industry does not need empty rhetoric. It needs leadership, and that leadership is already in place under President Dr. Irfan Ali, he stated. Mustafa concluded by reminding Guyanese, especially sugar workers, of who stood with them and who abandoned them, reinforcing the PPP/C's commitment to the industry and its workforce. Food prices soar in Guyana. Average increases exceed 75% over 3 years. News source Guyana reports, prices for vegetables, fruits, ground provisions, and meat have surged by more than 75% on average over the past 3 years, according to data from the New Guyana Marketing Corporation. This increase reflects a steady rise in food costs recorded at the Bourda and Stabroek markets, two of the country's largest and busiest. The price of certain vegetables has skyrocketed, with some items seeing increases of over 100%. For instance, cabbage has risen from $170 per pound in May 2021 to $360 per pound in May 2025. Other notable increases include pak choy, from $47 to $100 per hand. Cucumbers, from $29 to $80 each. Karilla, from $130 to $300 per pound. In addition to these, seasonings have also experienced steep price hikes, with wiry wire pepper increasing from $190 to $400 per pound, and hot pepper rising from $280 to $400 per pound. Local fruits have not been spared from price increases either. Cayenne bananas have jumped from $200 to $400 per pound, while apple bananas rose from $110 to $260 per pound. Watermelons saw a 93% increase, and pineapples now cost $600, up from $330. Ground provisions have also seen significant price changes. Edo has increased from $90 to $200 per pound, sweet potato from $100 to $200, and plantains from $110 to $180. Meat prices have also escalated, with local chicken now priced at $560 per pound, a 75% increase from $320. Beef costs $950 per pound, reflecting a 63.7% increase, while pork has jumped 87.5%, from $400 to $750 per pound. The rising food prices have prompted widespread concern among citizens about the increasing cost of living. While the government has announced measures to mitigate these price hikes, many of these initiatives have failed to translate into lower prices for consumers. For example, Farmers received substantial fertilizer support, yet the benefits have not reached shoppers in local markets. Calls for increased government monitoring of food prices are growing as citizens seek relief from the escalating alcohol consumption major cause of crime in Guyana. Crime chief states. Wendell Blanham, the crime chief of the Guyana Police Force, GPF, recently addressed the community on crime trends during a podcast titled Safeguarding Our Nation. He emphasized that excessive alcohol consumption is one of the primary contributors to criminal activities in Guyana. During the podcast, Blanham discussed various criminal occurrences, including disorderly murders, property-related offenses, drug trafficking, especially at border locations, domestic violence, cybercrime. He noted that most of these crimes are committed by a small minority of the population. Although he did not specify this group, he highlighted that the GPF focuses on key offenders and crime hotspots. Despite a reported decline in crime statistics, Blanham acknowledged that many Guyanese still feel unsafe. He stated, "In reality, even one violent crime is one too many," assuring the public that efforts will continue until every citizen feels secure. Blanham outlined 3 reasons why the decline in crime statistics may not be fully recognized. Victim impact. Every crime, regardless of frequency, affects real victims, and their stories tend to spread more quickly than statistics in a small society. High-profile incidents. Events like shootings and robberies stay in public memory and contribute to fear, overshadowing the progress made. Need for visibility. The police must increase visibility and engage the community to demonstrate their ongoing efforts in crime fighting. Blanham urged the public to collaborate with the police in the fight against crime. He outlined the police force's strategy, which focuses on the 3 Cs: crime prevention, community presence. He encouraged public awareness programs aimed at reducing the spread of misinformation and urged individuals to verify information with reliable police sources. Tobago attorney granted bail on sexual offenses charges. CNC 3 reports. Attorney at law and director of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, was granted bail in the amount of $150,000 on Wednesday after being charged with 2 sexual offenses. George faces allegations of sexually assaulting a female attorney at his Dundonald Street office on March 22, 2025. He is charged with indecent assault and grievous sexual assault. The alleged victim reported the incident to the Chiguanas police station 2 days later. George appeared before Master of the High Court Indira Chainibas, who imposed a condition that he must remain at least 500 meters away from the alleged victim. He was represented by senior counsels Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj and John Heath, while the state was represented by attorney SGT Adrian Moreno. The charges were laid by INSP Dinesh Durga. George was arrested on Tuesday following a months-long investigation led by Deputy Commissioner of Police for Intelligence and Investigation Suzette Martin, along with SNR Supt Raymond Tom and ASP Ramesh Sudin. George is scheduled to reappear in court on October 7, 2025.